Hello, very good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, we'll start. I hope today will be the last theoretical session. So with this one, I will be completed almost all the required necessary, the theoretical part, and I have planned to contact, revision like revision session by the next week with the help of the past paper. Okay, and the last 2 weeks will be quizzes. Quizzes mean you don't need to write something, MCQ quizzes. Okay, and I have contacted already. I have conducted 2 examination assignments, and with the upcoming 2, there will be 4. Among the 4, I will select the best 3. Okay, and will be finalize the marks for 30. Okay, so now we'll go for the last session, and today we will talk about control structure. Okay, can you see the screen now? Can you all see the screen? Okay, so this control structure related to, we have already practically discussed statement codings like if else condition. Okay, so those kind of condition in programming we used to call control structure. This control structure will help to control our working pattern of our coding or statement. It will tell the application to how it should be worked. For example, if the username and password correct, how it should be worked. If the username and password wrong, how it should be worked. So these kind of method, this is how these control structure helps the in programming. Okay, likewise, like if else condition, we have some more control structure called for each loop or for loop. Okay, and some more things called case statement, and another one is do while statement. Okay, we know how the if else condition is working. Basically, it has 2 types. Okay, first one is single if else condition or if condition. Here we have compared only one thing. If the condition is true, then how it is work. If the condition is false, how it should be work. Okay. For example, look at here. This is the statement or syntax of single if condition. See, this is one part and this is the second part. In this condition, you can see, look at here. This is just a syntax, okay? This is the common format. If I'm asking you to write the syntax of if-else statement or a single if condition, you have to write these things. Here it can be anything. This Boolean expression mean it can be anything. For example, in our previous classes, we have discussed if text box one.text is equal something admin, that is the username, and text box two.text is equal the password. If both are correct, what should be the output? That is what we have discussed last week. If you see the coding, if you compare the previous coding with the syntax, you can easily understand. Okay, if username and password true, how it should be work. So this is how we have discussed. So kindly you better compare the previous coding with this one, because I don't want to go very deeply these methods, because you will not have a advanced questions from this area. Some basic things only. We have to working for arithmetic calculation. In your subject, we will working with arithmetic calculation. Okay, using this if else or case statement. Okay. So it can be anything. These Boolean express mean, so it can be anything. It can be one Boolean expression, or else you may have two. For example, text box one.text is equal admin and text box two.text is equal some password or something. There are two statements in some condition. Okay. I'll go with some example. So look at here. So this is kind of, here it is multiple if condition. Look at here. In previously we have only one if. If it is true, then do something. If it is false, we don't need to write for false condition. Directly you can use else. Okay. Look at here. Here we have more than one if condition. One is here, one if condition is here, and another one if condition is here. This is multiple if condition. This is one example here. Okay, so if this is false, so do some operations, or else do some operations. Okay, look at here. This is the last statement. If these two are false, then it will happen. Which means these if condition, first it will check for this one. This check for this one. If it is false, then it will check for this one. Okay, and if it is true, this will be held. It will not check for this one. But if both are false, it is also false, it is also false, then it will happen. Okay, this is how it is checking the VB codings using these if else control statement. Okay, I will show with you one example again. If we go to the next section, we'll check with some Okay, let's work with this one. So this is text box 1.text, this is text box 2, and this is text box 3. Okay, and with some button. Now I'm going to check. Yes, I'm going to try the coding inside the button. Why I'm going to write the coding inside the button? These coding will be checked when the button is clicked. It's a button event. That is what we have discussed. When the button is clicked, it will check for the coding for some conditions. Okay. Let's say, look at here, I'm checking these content inside the the inside the text box when while running the application. Okay, I'm going to check what is the content inside the text box. Based on the content or input, it will decide what to do next. Okay, so my target is if text box 1 dot x is equal, let's see, admin, we can use logical operation like and or not. Okay, so which means this first line is me. So I have typed the coding for the first text box only. It will check for the input in the text box 1 whether it is admin. So the the letter should be admin, but again it is checking for capital small letters. Either it can be first letter can be capital and the rest of the letter can be small. Likewise, all the letters can be capital or all the letters can be small. For all these conditions, it will show some messages. For example, message box. Okay, I have write the coding only for the first text box. Okay, so it's, when I click this button, it will check whether the content is admin and the letter style of letter, whether it is first letter capital or all letters small or all letters capital. For all the condition, it will show you are correct. If the letters or the spelling is mistake, it will show some different output. Let me show you the output now. So can you see the output now? Can you all see the output? Okay, so now I have write the coding only for this text box, not these two. Okay, so I just write some wrong letters and clicking the button. See, it is showing you are wrong. But if I type something admin, you are correct. It is also all the letters small here. Again, I'm typing all the letters in capital. But again, it is correct. Again, I'm typing something. Again, it is correct. Why? I have already included the coding. It should be admin, and the letter can be all can be capital or all can be small or first letter can be capital. That's why it is. That's how it's working. Now behind the scene, look at. Okay, look at the coding here. This is checking only for the text box one. This is the logical operator. So I'm saying it should be checked for this one or this one or this one. If all one of these is correct, then this will be work. And these two coding will not work. If it is wrong, it will check. If one of these wrong, then directly it will go here. It will not work. So this is how this if control structure controlling our statement. This is our coding. Look at here. Message box is our VB.NET coding. If it is correct, it will show you. These coding will not work. If it is wrong, one of these statement is wrong, this will not work. Only these coding will work. And finally, end if condition finished, that means. So it is controlling our statement. Okay, either it will work or it will work. Now, I can write the coding for this one also. How? Again, come here. It should be else if. Look at here. Else if. Now you can try text box 1. Sorry, 2. So text is equal. Let's see. Then message box. Now I have write the coding for text box 2. For example, you write all these things incorrect. For example, this is also you haven't write admin. Instead, if you're writing SUSL, previously it is checking only for one word, that is admin. Now I have included for two words. For example, admin or SUSL. In previous case, if you type SUSL, it will show you are wrong. But now if you type SUSL, it will not show you are wrong. It will show you are an alumina of SUSL. Now we have more than one if condition. This is okay. This is we call nested if condition. Okay, let's check. See, now I haven't typed anything here. In these, okay, look at here. In this output, if I don't type anything inside the text boxes, it will show you an output. You are wrong because I haven't typed anything. I have typed something inside the text boxes. For example, I'm writing something here. Let's see SUSL here. Here nothing. If I don't input anything, definitely it must show some error based on previous condition. Now I have typed one more statement that is for text box 2. So I have typed SUSL here. See, now it is showing you are an alumina, which means second if condition is working. Okay. I have typed something wrong here. Let me check. See, you are an alumni still, which means based on our condition, first it will show the letters or word admin. Okay, if there is no letter or no word containing these letters, then it will show for the word SCUSL, but from the textbooks too. Okay, now my question is, I need to check whether you are from HNDA student or not from the third textbooks. So can anyone tell me how can we write the coding here? How can I include the coding here, and which place do I need to insert the coding? Can anyone answer me? Previously, I have checked already. I have checked from textbooks 1 and textbooks 2. So based on this coding, look at here. Based on this coding, it will check from the textbox 1. There are any word with a spelling ADMIN. If not, it will check for there any word SUSL from textbox 2. If these two words are not there, then it will show you an error. Okay, now my question is, I want to check whether the student is from HNDA or not from textbox 3. So what is the coding should I need to use, and where should I need to insert here? Can anyone answer? Yes, rather, yes. Answer is correct. And you have to mention which place should I need to insert that coding, and what is the coding should be there. Tell me exact coding. I have received 3 answers, but they have said what type of coding should be there. But I need answer where should I place the coding, and what is that coding, or what are the coding? Good, very good. Is that all? I have received 4 answers, and out of 4, 3 answers are perfect. One is again, it's not fully. I need a full answer. Don't send me the partial answer. Yes, good. The answer should be either this place or this place. Okay. Again, I'm going to check another condition. So therefore, else if. And I'm going to check the condition from the text box 3. So text box 3 dot text. And what is my Boolean condition? My condition is whether it is HNDA student or not. So I can input HNDA student or HNDA whatever. Then automatically it will then message box. That's all. Now let's check it. Can you all see the output now? Yes, students, can you see the output? Now can you see it? Okay. So look out here. If all these three text boxes are empty, it will show you an error. You are wrong. If all the input are wrong again it will show you an error. But look at here. If one of these input is correct, for example, if it is SUSL, it will show you a correct answer. You are an alumni of SUSL. It will not consider these two. Why? A condition is, see, look at here. Condition is else. This one, else if this is not, then this should be. Or if these two are not, then the third one, this should be there. If all these three are not correct, then only it will show you the last message. So one of the three word, if you put one of these three word in the text boxes, it will show you some answer. Now look at here. Show you the output. I hope you can see the output now. Can you see the output again? The window. Okay, now I'm asking, look at here clearly. You must understand my question. Here in the text box 1, you must include admin to get some meaningful answer. Or else you have to include SUSL in text box 2. Or you must include the input in text box 3. That should be HNDA. Okay. But if I use the SUSL in text box 1, what is the output? It is a wrong answer. Okay. Now my question is, it should be identify the SUSL in from text box 1, 2. From this also, I need to identify the word SUSL. Now tell me, how can I modify my coding? Based on our existing coding, the SUSL should be this text box. You have to type that SUSL word inside the text box 2. Then only it will show you the correct answer. But if you put here in the text box 1 or in the text box 3, it is showing the wrong one. You are wrong. But my target is, I need to get a correct answer wherever I use these words in these text boxes. If I use in text box 1, it should be show you are an alumni of SUSL. If I use in text box 2, it should show you are an alumni of SUSL. If I used in text boxes 3, it will show you are an alumni of SUSL. Wherever I use the SUSL word, it will show. It will. I'm expecting to get the correct answer. That is, you are an SUSL alumni. Or if I use the HNDA here, I need an answer. It should be shown you are an alumni of SLE8. Okay, but based on the current coding, To get the alumina of SUSL, I have to use the word inside text box 2. To get the output as a you are an alumina of SLEAD, I have to use the word in text box 3. Now I'm asking you, how can I modify this coding to get an output like you are SUSL, sorry, you are an alumina of SUSL from anywhere inside the text box. It could be in from text box 1 or text box 2 or text box 3. Now tell me, how can I modify my coding? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me, how can I modify my coding? Quickly tell me. I need to change the coding for SUSL part. If I put the coding in text box 1, it must, I'm expecting to get an output to an SUSL alumina. If I used in text box 2, I'm expecting you are alumina of SUSL. If I used in text box 3, again I'm expecting. So wherever I put the SUSL, it will show the correct answer. How can I modify the coding? Yes, your answer is right. Somehow right, but I need a full answer. Yes, perfect. Yes, you are right. Should we have to use another else if condition? Okay, use the text box 1 to text again is equal SUSL then you can use the message box. This is one way. Okay, so you can use the same output, this one. The same thing can be repeated for text box 3 also. So you can modify the coding something like this. Okay, so somehow way, but better you reduce the number of coding. How? You can use this coding here or this one and delete this one and use here or SUS. If the word inside text box 3 HND or SUSL, it will show you are an alumina of SLEAD or SUSL. It's a simple coding. Likewise, you can correct this one also. Just put here with some or logical operator and delete the extra one. This one not. That's all. Okay. With the same number of 3-line coding, I can edit, but I have to use logical operator or sometime based on our requirement, you can use AND or sometime you have to use NOT. This is how you have to combine it. I'll show you the output. Okay, now if I click, it is showing you on a row. Let's see. Look at here. You are correct or you are an alumina of SUSL. I put here Delete this one. It is showing correct answer. Again, if I use here your Alminov, CET or SUSL, look at here. I can use the SUSL word anywhere in these textbooks and I receive the expected answer. Okay. Clear now? Clear now? What about others? Okay. Now let's move the next part. The next control structure is case statement. So which can be used instead of if-else condition. Look at here, the say, I would suggest using select case whenever you have more than 3 else if statement. In the previous example, we have only 2 if-else statement. And they are saying, if it is more than else if condition, in previously we have used if, else if, then else. So there are 3 if condition there. If there is more than 3, then let's say if one condition, else if another condition, else if another condition, and you're going to fourth one, that is else if, fourth else if, and another statement. If it is more than 3, then better to use case statement. It is not wrong if you still you can use else if condition, no problem. But they suggesting, the experts are suggesting to use case statement instead else if statement. Okay, because when you use else if condition, it will check all the codings one by one. Each line by line, it will check all the coding. But here, look at here. For example, if you found the answer in case 2, automatically these cases will not be checked. Okay, if the answer found in the case 1, the rest of the cases will not be checked, which means it will serve your coding time, coding executing time. If you can serve the coding executing time, then your software will be work fast. So that way they're saying, if you're using more than else if condition, it is better to transfer from else if to select case. Both are doing the same thing. But in else if or if condition, it will check all the codings one by one, whether it is wrong or right. It will check all the coding and show the output for the correct one. But here, it will check for the required data. If it is found in case 2, let's see, you are checking some data and your required output is finding here, then it will not, the rest of these area will not work. Okay, if your answer found in case 4, the coding will stop here and the last sentence only work. These part will not work, which means if it is not work, it means you are serving a time for this area. If you can't serve the time, your application will fast work. That's why they're suggesting to use case statement when the if else condition is more than 3. Okay, is this clear? Are you clear, my dear? Okay, if you face a question like why select case statement better than if statement, then you have to write this reason. Okay, So this is an example. Wait a minute. Hold the line, please. You're all, please take a 10 minutes break. I will start after the 10 minutes again. I'll start again 9:28, 9:30. Okay. Hello, are you there all? Are you all there? Can we start again? Are you all there? Okay. Now we'll before go to the case statement, I just want to show you a model question that is based on last previous exams. Okay. So I just want to know some of your basic equation. Can you tell me some equation, one equation that you're using in your accounting section? Any equation, but tell me a simple equation so I can develop application quickly. Okay, salary calculator. Okay, okay, I'll show you the basic steps. Okay, uh, let me start. Okay, P0208, P0208. Are you there? And okay, now look at here. I'm going to create. I will explain the case statement bit later. Before that, I'll show you a simple calculator or a simple application that can be calculate employee salary. Okay, you have to mention some basic input only. Based on that, it will calculate the rest of them. That is, what is the EPF? What is the um, amount for the pension and other allowances. Okay, based on your requirement, we can create it. Now let me start the equation here. So this is some the basic things. Okay, so you can add any number of variable here based on your requirement. Okay, now our target is when I click the calculate button, by giving the basic and these two allowances, automatically rest of the amount should be calculated. Okay, for that one we have to write the coding. Since all the operations are under one button, therefore we have to write all the codings here. So let's see. Since we are going to working with these text boxes, by default these text boxes as a type of string type. So our text box name is textbox1.text, which means it is a string type. So we cannot do any mathematical calculation with string type of variables. So therefore we have to convert these text boxes or these text box string type into integer type. So the calculation can be made easily. Okay, so that is what the first target, we have to convert it. So now can anyone tell me how to declare a variable as an integer? Quickly tell me, how can we declare any variable into integer? Anyone tell me how to declare any variable as an integer? We have already discussed declaring variable. So tell me how to declare any variable as an integer. If I'm asking you to create a variable as an integer, how to do that? I'm going to convert as a, the any answer? Yes, to answer. You have to tell the answer, full answer. Don't say, I'm asking. Let's say, for example, I want to make x as an integer. How to do that? Now write the coding for this one. I want to create x as an integer. How to do that? Any answer, please? Have received. Yes, good. 004. Your answer is correct. Any other? Others? This is, we have a, these questions will be coming to the exam. I'm pretty sure. I have checked 3 past paper. All the past paper having these kind of question. So tell me, others. If you don't do this one, we can't move to the next section. Because you know how to declare variable. Others, why are you silent? Please tell me the answer. Only 3 people has answered my question. Okay, I'm going to call your number. You have to answer me. Okay. P0208. Idea? P0208. Are you there? Quickly respond me. You know the answer, you have to tell the answer. Otherwise, still I don't know. Okay. P0210. Are you there? Okay, now you tell me how to declare a variable y as a string. Quickly tell me how to declare you know the answer, you have to say. Otherwise, you have to say, I don't know. But do better stop silent. Okay. Now you all are telling the answer, no problem. Now let's move the screen. I'll show you. Look at here. Can you see the screen now? Can you all see the screen now? What about others? Okay. So look at here. First, I have to create the, sorry. First, I have to create the variable. So my target is when I click the button, the answer will be shown. The calculation will be made based on these values from these text boxes. Okay, so I'm declaring two variable a comma b as an integer. To do mathematical calculation, we need an integer type of variables. You can't do any mathematics operation with string operators. Okay, therefore now I'm going to check with these two text boxes. Okay, this one and this one. Do these things. Okay, we'll check these later. First, we'll check these two text boxes to do some calculations. So I'm creating two variable a comma b, and then now I have to declare these a belongs to text box 1 and b belongs to text box 2. For that purpose, a is equal text box 1 dot text. Still, I did not complete. A is an integer, but text box 1 dot text is equal text is a string type of variable. Now, if you equalize these two, it may confuse whether it is integer or string. For that purpose, again, I need to use an extra coding which is help to convert your text box or the whole line, into integer. For that one, you have to type a is equal CINT. These keyword will help you to convert your text box into integer. Text box 1 dot text. Okay. So you have completed your first part. That means when you type a number in text box 1, automatically this application will be considered as an integer. This is the proper way. Okay, step by step. Now I need to do the same thing for the second text box. Okay, now I have converted b also as an integer. These two lines will help to convert. If you type a number in this box, it will automatically convert in integer. In previous case, before, if you don't convert it, you type any number, the system automatically identify those numbers as a string. Why? We are using a text box, which is text box mean normally text mean is a string type of variable. No, so we are converting from string type of variable into integer. That is why we are using these conversion line, extra line. Now let's say I need to find the answer, and I want to show the answer in this label. I have already created a table in this area. Okay, let's say I want to show the answer here, or you can show the answer in message books also. But in this case, I want to show it on the label. Let's say we have the label number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Label number 11. So label 11 is equal C. And also I have to show what is C. C is an integer, and C can be calculated using A plus B. Okay, so I have converted A as an integer. I mean text box 1 as an integer, text box 2 as an integer. That is, those can be done using these line. And this is for calculating the two numbers. So I'm telling I'm going to add two numbers from A and text box 1 and text box 2. That is here. And going to show the answer in the label 11. Label 11 I have created somewhere else here, either here or here. Now check whether it is working or not. Can you see the output now? The dialog box. Can you see it now? Now look at here. I'm typing some number here, here also a number. Now I'm clicking calculator button. See, answer is receiving from here. So our coding is working. So like this, we have to convert all the coding and we have to do the mathematical formula inside it. Okay, so come here. Now I'm going to convert all the coding. So I have done for this one and this one. Now I have to done for the rest of these area. So likewise, I have to create the rest of the text boxes. I have created 5 text boxes. I have already converted first 2. Now I have to convert the rest of the 3 text boxes. Come here and just copy this coding. Make it. And see. So now this is C. This is text box 3. I will change all these here. See, look at here. This is text box 4. There is a small mistake here. Can anyone find it? I'll show the position. You have to find what is the reason. Look at here. There's a small error here. See, it is underlining some warning. It is saying E is already declared as a parameter of this method. No, I can remove the C here. No problem. This is for testing only. Now look at here. Everything is okay. I have converted text box 1 into integer here. Likewise, text box 2 converted. Text box 3 converted. Text box 4 converted. Also text box 5 also converted. But it is showing a small error here. See, if I move the cursor, it is showing E is already declared as a parameter of this method. Can anyone find why it is showing here? Look at the whole coding here. It is showing some error here, some warning. Can anyone find the reason? Because look at here, the E is already used here. This is a default coding for the button. For the event argument, for the mouse event, it is already used the letter E as a variable. So I can't use the same variable for another purpose. So I have to rename it with some other letter that are not used anywhere inside the coding. So I can use F. So you have to change this and this. Okay, now I have complete one part, that is converting all the text boxes into integer type. Okay, this also can't be here. I will change it at last. Okay, based on the letters. Now this C integer, okay, which means C convert into integer. we are using this one, convert the text values inside the text boxes as an integer. Okay, you got it now? Now we'll do the rest of the calculation part. Our target, wait. So our target is, so when it is in the output, let's say this is your salary calculator form. Let's say you are calculating a salary for your employee. So what you have to do, you have to input basic salary of the employee and allowances, and let's say additional allowances 45% or something, and for the deduction of pension, this one, and deduction of EPF 10%. So if I type, after typing all the required value, and if I click the button, all the gross pay, net pay, and the relevant information will be shown here. For that, we need some basic calculation, which need to be add, which need to be multiplied, which need to be subtract. So we must know it. Okay, now let's see how to do that. So it's better to show you with some. Okay, I have created some, for example, here I need to show the amount of allowance in this area. When I click the calculator button, here in this label, I have to show the amount of pension. Here I need to show the deduction for EPF. These all are calculating based on the basic pay. Okay, it is percentage mean. For example, basic pay is 10,000 and additional allowance 10%. Then it means 1,000 rupees is the additional allowance. These need to be calculated. Here I have to calculate gross pay. Gross pay will be basic pay plus cost of living allowances plus additional allowances. That is the equation. And net pay means gross pay minus deduction for pension minus deduction for EPF. This is the normal calculation. In the examination, you may have given the equations and they ask you based on this equation, you have to develop the coding. Okay, that's the required. So don't worry about the equation. We know how to convert. We must know how to create the variables. Okay, so that is what we are doing now. Let me do one by one. So first I'm going to find the this is label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here label 6. So in the label 6 should be label 6. So text will be is equal the answer from text box 3. That is additional allowance. So which is C. And label 7 will be answer from additional allowance. Normally, if you put 10%, it should multiply by basic pay. So basic pay is A. Basic pay normally we insert inside to text box 1, which is equal to A. Therefore, A into text box 3 is C. Sorry, this it should be B. Okay, an additional allowance inside C. And label 8 is equal. Please type the coding. It will help you to when studying. Okay, 8 here. Label 8 here. This one, deduction for pension. How can we calculate it? Basic pay into deduction for pension. Basic pay is A and deduction for pension is D. That is text box 4 amount. And label 9.text is equal deduction for EPF. How to calculate the amount? Basic pay into this percentage. So that means A into F. Okay. Now we'll check it again. I can type some amount here. Let's say I'll use 100. So you can easily answer. Cost of living, let's say 70. Additional allowance 10%. Deduction, I'm just putting 2%, and deduction for EPF 2%. So if I calculate click the this button here, this place it. Okay, I'll show it. Okay. So can you see the output window now? Can you all see the output window? Can you all see the output window? Okay. Now look at here. So I have typed some amount here, basically 100. Okay. Cost of living 70 rupees. Additional allowance. This is actually percentage. Okay. Sorry. Deduction for pension. This is percentage. We are going to check whether our equation is correct or wrong. If it is wrong, we have to do some modification. Otherwise, we can use it. Okay. So now look at here. If I click the calculator based on these amount, here it should show 70. Here it should be show 10 because 10%. What is the 10% of 100? 10. Here it should show what is the 2% of 100? 2. Here again, this is also 2. Therefore, it should be also show the amount 2. Okay. Now I'm going to click the button. So there's a mistake. I need to find what is the mistake here. Show you. It is showing a mistake in text box 3. So there's an issue. Let me check. It's showing there's an issue here. So what you can do, so rather putting the percentage, we can divide it by 100. 2% means 2 by 100, isn't it? So it can be divided into 100. This is also 100. And this is also 100. Okay, now let me check it again. It's 100, 70, 10, 2, 2. Let me check it again. See, now I have found the answer. For example, if I put 10,000 here, look at here, 10,000, look at the, see, 70 is 70, that is not a percentage, but additional allowances, deduction for pension, deduction for EPA should be percentages. So you don't need to put the percentage symbol. Instead, you can directly put the number only. Why? Because look at here. Look at here. In the coding, I have already declared here. If you put 10 in the box C, for example, additional allowance, I'm putting it. Actually, it is 10%. But if I use the percentage mark, it is showing some errors. So to reduce these complexity, I just converting the numbers into percentage in my coding. If you divide some number by 100, it means it's a percentage, you know. 1% means 1 upon 100. 5% means 5 upon 100. 20% means 20 by 100. So that is what I'm doing here. Okay, so I can directly use the percentage, but for that I have to do some conversion operation again. So to reduce the complex, I just convert it. That's all. This is the salary calculator. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so I'll show you again. I'm running the coding and I'm putting just 15,000 as a basic salary, and he's getting 750 as a this is the direct number. This is LKR or something, 750. Here additional allowance, let's say 40%. Here you don't need to use the percentage symbol. You know why? Because we have already in the coding we have mentioned if it is 40 mean it is 40%. That is already I have mentioned in my coding. So you can directly put the number only. Don't use the percentage notation here or a symbol here. Deduction for pension, let's say 8. Deduction for EPF, let's say 10. Now click the button calculate. See. Can you see it now? Are you all clear now? Okay, now we have done one important part. Now we have to finalize our coding. Let's say now we have to find the gross pay. Okay, for the gross pay, what is the equation? Can anyone tell me? What is the equation for gross pay? What is the equation for gross pay? How to find the gross pay? Basic pay plus cost of living allowances plus, yes, additional allowances. That is A plus B plus C. And how to find the deduction net pay? How to find the net pay? Gross pay minus, yes, both of the deduction. That is deduction for pension and deduction for EPF. So for that you can write it A plus B plus C minus D minus F. So that's all. Look at here. So for now, gross pay label number is 11. Label 11 dot text is equal A plus B plus C. Okay, label 11 is equal A plus B plus C. And net pay label name is label 13. So label 13 text is equal A plus B plus C minus D minus F. Are you all clear now? Now let me check with the output. Can you see the output window, calculator window? Can you see the calculator window? Wait a minute. Now, okay, now, so let's say you are an accountant or salary clerk or something, you're working as an accountant. And now you don't need to do any manual method or something. We have already created a salary calculator, but we can do basic pay. We can put the basic pay. Let's say your employee basic pay 1,500 and cost of living allowance 8,000 and additional allowance 65% and deduction for pension, let's say 8% and deduction for EPS 10%. This is only you have to type it. Okay, and now click the calculate. See. So this is just a basic things. This is how this is what you need to understand. For example, you are working in a company and you're asking for, you are finding to calculate the salary or something for the employee, and you don't need any system. You don't have a, they're saying you have to develop your system. This is how you have to develop it. If you know the equation, if you know the basic coding, simply it's an equation. Just we have to change the amount only here. Okay, other things will be calculated automatically. Okay, is that clear now? Okay, so by next week, I will explain your past paper with some model questions. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Do you have any doubts? Others, what about others? Okay, no problem. Okay, then I'll wind up the session today. And thank you very much for joining with me. Have a nice weekend. This is the 12th class, I think. And you can find the, every week I used to share the recording also. If you have any doubt, kindly check the recordings. Okay. And the notes and recording also uploaded in the Google Classroom also. So check your Google Classroom also. Everything is there. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye.